Las Vegas. It's more than just a city. It's a feeling. It's that feeling of excitement when you spot the lights of the strip out the airplane window. It's that feeling of awe as you stroll down the boulevard, taking in the sights and sounds. And it's that feeling of satisfaction, knowing that you're in the greatest city in the world. Over 42 million people from around the world share that feeling every year. And I'm one of them. Taking you to the world-famous Vegas Strip and beyond, my name is Jeff. And this is Jeff Does Vegas. In years past, the Las Vegas Strip was jammed full of a combination of large-scale production shows like Cirque du Soleil and Broadway musicals, along with a mixture of mid-level headliners like the Bronx Wanderers, Tenors of Rock, and Legends in Concert, with the odd big-time residency tossed in, like a Cher or a Celine Dion at Caesar's Palace. And of course, who could forget about the casino lounges and the incredible live music performed in them each and every night. But if you've been listening to any recent episodes of the podcast, you may have heard me talk about the shift that the Vegas entertainment scene has gone through. Those large-scale production shows are struggling. The mid-level headliners have moved off the strip or shut down entirely, and the casino lounges have gone silent. That is, if they haven't been replaced with a sports book or a high roller lounge. But what's behind this evolution? To get the answer, I decided to turn to an insider. Making his third appearance on the podcast is Vincent John from the Bronx Wanderers, who of course have been caught up in all of this craziness over the last few years. Vincent and I have had a lot of offline discussions about the state of entertainment in Las Vegas, but we decided it was time to sit down and have a conversation on the record. We talked about everything from the cost of producing a show in Las Vegas to whether or not these big-time residencies can last, and even the effect that sports is having on entertainment in Las Vegas. Please enjoy my conversation with Vincent John from the Bronx Wanderers.
Las Vegas has always been a cyclical place. Like, for a group of years, it'll be family driven. And then the next 5 to 7 years, it'll be all club driven. And next thing you know, all kids coming, 21 to 35, they all go to clubs. And now you're seeing a giant shift towards sports, which is we're in the next cyclical thing of Vegas, which now people are going to see the Golden Knights. People are going to see the Raiders play at Allegiant Stadium. When I came out here in 2016, there weren't any headliners out here. You didn't have Bruno Mars and Katy Perry and Luke Bryan and all these people every night. All you had were the mainstays at Caesars, which are, Elton John, Cher, your usual Rod Stewart, your usual people. So people would go and spend money on, say, Elton John one night, and then the next night they have a little bit of money left over. Not a lot to spend $500 to see Elton John again, but maybe we'll take a shot on Bronx Wanderers. Maybe we'll take a shot on Tenors of Rock. Oh, maybe we'll take a shot on this Meatloaf musical. Now we're at a time where ticket prices are so ridiculously overpriced that people don't have that extra income to go to that smaller show the next day. Now they're spending $800 to go see Bruno Mars, and maybe they'll spend $300 to go to a Golden Knights game. So you're seeing a lot of these shows, smaller shows, kind of cycle out. And it's a sad thing because a lot of the rooms out here, like, say, for instance, you brought up Bat Out of Hell, that's like a 1,400-seat room. On a good night, they were selling maybe 100 to 200 tickets. I mean, you need smaller rooms out here. But at the same token, people aren't going to go see a smaller show when they have the option to see Bruno Mars, Katy Perry. This has now become a tour destination. Look at the giant Madison Cube that's going to be out here. The Sphere, I'm sorry. Madison Square Garden, you got to love it.
Yeah.
It's that's going to be 20,000 people a night.
Yeah.
And U2 is going to headline that this year. So imagine how much Live Nation is going to be charging for those tickets. So it's in a state of flux. It always has been in a state of flux. I'm lucky that I moved down to a hotel at the South Point where they're packed Monday through Monday every night with my demographic that goes and sees a Bronx Wanderers show.
Right.
So I'm lucky that I'm only doing 3 days a month now. I'm no longer doing 27 days a month, which again, once you limit the supply, you increase demand.
Yeah.
So all these shows are learning. I mean, look at Awakening right now. That's the new show that just opened out of the Wynn. They're now offering payment plan options for tickets.
Yeah.
Where instead of spending $150 at once, you can do $10 a month. So now imagine spending $10 a month. You see a show, you don't like that show. The next 10 months, you're still paying for a show you didn't like. You know, I never thought I'd see the day I'd see that.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
So I'm as flabbergasted as to where this town is going to, but I'm going to say this. It's sports, online betting, and giant headliners. Mm-hmm. That's where it's going.
Are some of these smaller shows, are they being pushed out, or are they doing this on their own? Are they making these decisions, or is it a combination of the two to this is survival, this is what we have to do?
A lot of the shows, I mean, look, if anybody could stay and make money and be in one place, it's a win. But, I mean, you know, I have friends like Queens of Rock and MJ Evolution. A lot of the shows were at that theater, Mosaic. Mm-hmm. The theater itself closed down. And all those shows in that room were spectacular. And they're all looking at me going, you know, how do we get into a Tropicana or a Westgate or a Mainstay hotel? And I look at them and go, the amount of money you're going to spend on Vegas.com, the amount of money you're going to spend on marketing, mm-hmm. the amount of money you're going to spend on labor and the union. I mean, before you even make $1, you've lost $15,000 that week.
Yeah.
And if you're selling anywhere from 20 to 60 tickets, you can't float.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm better than any one of them. That's why, like, I'm no longer doing Westgate, because while Bronx Wanderers were there for 14 months, we lost some weeks. We made a little money some weeks. We were even some weeks. But it's not a money-making model. Mm-hmm. It's not. The hotels have basically turned into landlords, where they no longer get behind the show. You no longer have a thing where, oh, okay, Bronx Wanderers, you're going to bring in 100 people. Let's support you. But then those 100 people are going to go to one of our restaurants. Mm-hmm. Those 100 people are going to gamble at our place. Those people are going to, you know, maybe go see Barry Manilow. It's no longer every department's counting on everybody. Mm-hmm. Entertainment only cares about entertainment. Food and beverage only cares about food and beverage.
Yeah.
And that's why South Point, I feel like, is the last hotel that does it right, where entertainment will lose $10,000 that month, but they pay me a flat-out check. I don't go there and have to pay for anything.
Right.
Because they look at me and go, well, you're bringing in 400 people that are going to eat at our restaurant, that are going to drink at our bars, that are going to gamble at our slot machines. So everybody wins in that scenario. And that's why Human Nature's there, the Righteous Brothers are there, we're there. And I feel like that is the future. This whole 26 days a month thing is going to be a thing of the past, because shows aren't going to be able to afford the union. They're not going to be able to afford the marketing costs. You can't anymore. If a hotel isn't going to get the marketing, why should the shows have to take care of the marketing? Okay, if you're going to make us take care of the marketing, give us a piece of the bar. And then they look at us and go, no. So then we have to look at them and go, then we're not coming. If you're not going to be there and help us, why are we going to bring people in to lose money and help you?
It's interesting you mentioned those shows like yourselves, Righteous Brothers, Human Nature.
Yeah.
Those are all shows that all headlined on the Strip. I mean, Human Nature was how many years at the Venetian?
They were maybe 8 to 10. They were there a long time.
Yeah, Righteous Brothers played for a very long time. They were at Harrah's for quite a while.
For a long time, yeah.
And you guys bounced between Harrah's and the Link. And
I opened at Harrah's February of 2020.
Yeah.
A lot of good that did me.
Yeah.
When a month later the pandemic hit and I was on unemployment. But, yeah, I mean, Westgate was so kind to us. They picked us up and had never even saw our show.
Yeah.
And they just picked it up based on word of mouth.
Yeah.
But it was a thing where we weren't making money, and we were working far too much.
Right.
Far too much. Again, I'm salaried, so I made my money, but my producers were losing tons of money.
Yeah.
And now everybody kind of just gave the finger to the Strip and said, okay, if you're not going to take care of anybody, we're going to go where people take care of us. Mm-hmm. And South Point is, in my opinion, the only hotel that's doing it right.
It was really interesting. There was that period back, it was shortly after things started reopening, when I kind of called it the day the music died, when all those Caesars properties shit-canned all of those shows. Mm-hmm. And decided they were going to put in gaming or sports books in some of those places, and closing down live venues, like shutting down Cleopatra's Barge at Caesar's Palace seems like a massive failure to me. Closing the Le Cabaret at the Paris, like, again, like, none of this made any sense to me. That was always one of our favorite things when my wife and I would come to Vegas, is we could do that, you know, wander through the casinos and pop into all these places and hear live music, or go and see some of the smaller shows, because we don't necessarily have $500 to drop on Bruno Mars or Aerosmith or Katy Perry or whatever. And we could go and see performances that we thought were every bit as good as those.
Because the locals are. They are just as good as the people in those giant theaters. You're right. But the thing is, they're not making any money in those places. So the bar will make some money, but I know that they're turning Cleopatra's Barge into a high roller room, because that's where they're going to make their money. And you're seeing this, like you said, a phase out of lounges. You're seeing that become a thing of the past. Because even look at my generation. I'm 35 years old. When we get off a plane, do my people want to go and see a show? No, they want to go to a bar. They want to go to Vanderpump.
Right.
They want to go to Omnia. They want to go to a club. And I'm talking about my people. I'm old. And I'm talking about the people that are 21 to 34 that are younger. None of them are going to go to see Bat Out of Hell. None of them are going to see Bronx Wanderers. Nobody's going to see a random show they've never heard of. They're going to go see a DJ that's #1 on the charts, like Aoki or da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
You're going to see a giant shift. And I'm hoping that, like you said, people like you and your awesome wife that come to this town that want to see an experience and see what the local scene is about and see these things. The more that these things go away, I wonder if it's going to affect the bottom line of these giant corporations. Because like you said, a lot of people don't have $400 for a Bruno Mars ticket.
Yeah.
I don't have money for a Bruno Mars ticket. You know, I don't have money to see, you know, a Golden Knights for $280 for 3 people. I don't, you know.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. But again, look at the hilarity of it. Highest inflation ever, and casinos are reporting the most revenue ever from gambling.
Yeah.
I think it's in the billions of dollars a month. So they're looking at it going, we don't need entertainment. If we just get all these people to come and keep gambling, we're making far more than we could ever make off entertainment. I'm not even going to say names, but I was talking to a major executive at one of the giant corporate brands, and he said, if it were up to me, I would get rid of all my entertainment and turn every single room into a sports betting, high-limit poker room, because we make 50 times the money.
Yeah.
And you just look at him and go, wow. Because again, as a guy that went to school for business, I get it. You need to make money. That is your job. You have shareholders. You got to make money. But as somebody like you and me who comes to this town and wants to see somebody amazing locally play at the Barge, some amazing little show like Tenors of Rock or Bronx Wanderers play, it's getting phased out.
Yeah.
And I have no idea where the future is going to be.
How sustainable do you think those big centers and those big theaters are? I mean, just throwing out numbers, like you got Park MGM in the Dolby, that's 6,400 seats. Resorts World is 4,000 plus seats. Fontainebleau, if and when that place ever opens, their theater is going to be 3,000 seats. And you mentioned the MSG Sphere. I mean, that's 18,000 seats, a $2 billion venue. And the last article I read about that place, other than U2, they're talking about showing movies in there.
Yeah,
so
they need to make a profit.
I'm laughing going, okay, so you've got the world's only $2 billion, 18,000 seat movie theater. Like, fantastic. But I mean, how sustainable as an entertainer in this place, that in this city that's kind of watched things go through the cycle, how sustainable do you think that actually is?
If you look at people like Bruno Mars, I mean, that guy will always sell out as Bruno Mars. So, you know, he'll always kill it. As far as the Sphere goes, U2, yeah, they're going to totally sell out that opening. But again, it's like you said, how many headliners can sell out a 20,000-seat venue? Or I don't even know how many seats that is. It might even be more. You know, I don't remember my figures, but sustainable. When you look at all the Cirque shows, they're all under one umbrella.
Right.
So, and Mystère and Love, all of them are owned by the same company. So let's say 2 of those shows are failing and they suck. That was a bad word, suck. Let me rephrase that. Like, if 2 shows not selling so well.
Sure.
O that's doing 2 shows a day and selling out every single day is going to make up for the losses in those other 5 shows that aren't.
Right.
Same thing with all the ex-burlesque, ex-country, ex-rock. If you have one show that's doing bad and you have one that's doing great, one can sustain the other 4.
Mm-hmm.
Now, but when you have one standalone show, like, say, Bronx Wander Centers of Rock, if you're not doing good, you're not doing good.
Right.
You don't have anybody else to sustain you.
Mm-hmm.
So, as far as all these giant venues go, it's a matter of the demographic of people that are coming here. I mean, I know the Bronx Wander demographic. They don't want to go to the Strip anymore.
Yeah.
They don't want to pay for parking. They don't want to deal with all the little girls in the skimpy skirts drunk falling on themselves, and going to the clubs at night. They'd rather stay at a Westgate or a South Point. They want to be away from the madness. So I know where I'm at demographically. I'm in the right spot. But as far as being on the Strip, I mean, it's going to be a headliner town, like I said. Are they going to sustain? Bruno Mars? Absolutely. Katy Perry? Totally. I'll tell you this, when Aerosmith was here, I had 5 different companies reach out to me going, do you want a free ticket to go see Aerosmith? I said, free? They go, yeah, they need to fill the room, know, so if you can come and just, be a guy at Aerosmith. I'm like, dude, it's Aerosmith.
Right.
They're like, yeah, but they're here 2 weeks every single night. And when you're competing with Bruno Mars, Katy Perry, is Aerosmith going to sell out every night? Probably, maybe not.
I wonder about the saturation of the market as far as these large venues go, even too, because you're now getting into a situation where you've got T-Mobile Arena, that again is an 18 or 19,000 seat venue for a concert.
Yeah,
competing with MSG Sphere, which is 19,000
Stadium now doing Elton John.
Allegiant Stadium is 60,000 people. You've got MGM Grand Garden, you've got the Mandalay Bay Center, and now you're getting into these theaters.
So that's the thing. If
all the thousands,
if all these people start going to those shows, you're going to see all the lounges, like you said, closing. You're going to see all the smaller 200 to 300 seat shows closing because people aren't going to. Those 100,000 seats are going to be sucked up by every other giant venue that you said, and that's where it's going to head, and that's where the corporate people are pushing it. Because why do we care about a $45 to $80 ticket in a 300 seat room when we can get a $450 ticket or a $2,000 ticket to see Adele?
Yeah.
Why are we going to care about a Tate Face or a Bronx Wander? Why are we going to care? And that's it. Why worry about 300 seats when you can sell 18,000 at 10 times the price?
Yeah.
Boom, corporate. And that's why 20, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, when the mob ran the joint, everything was free. They saw it as everybody wins. The bar wins, the person wins, the band wins, because everybody won.
Yeah.
Now it's every man for himself.
I want to talk about the cost to run a show, because I think people, they see the faces on the billboards and they think, that's cool. Those guys have got to be making bank because they're doing a show. They're headlining in Vegas. Yeah. They're 30 feet tall on a billboard.
Yeah, that's the illusion.
That is the illusion. It's a city of illusion. So I kind of want to break down the costs involved. So let's start with, who pays for what?
Okay. So for us, for instance, we had producers. So we had a lovely couple. It was Gliss Entertainment. And they run Menopause the Musical at Harrah's, and they ran us. So let's just talk about Harrah's for a minute. When you work in Harrah's, there's a union there. And that means the person that sets up my equipment, opens the curtain, does the lights, does the sound, da-da-da-da-da. Anytime you go in a room, there's a minimum of amount of people you have to pay. So in Harrah's, for instance, for me, I think it was 4 people. I automatically, no matter what, even if I only need 2, I have to pay for 4. And these people don't get paid a little amount of money.
Right.
They're getting paid very well.
Right.
IATSE, the union out here for, technicians is... I'll tell you this. When I get fired from Bronx Wanders, that's the first place I'm going to get a job. Because these guys have a great living doing what they do. And the hotel doesn't pay for them. The shows do. So I have to pay for 4 union guys. Another funny thing at Harrah's is you automatically have to pay for 10 shows a week. So even if Bronx Wanders is only doing 6 shows a week, they're getting paid for an extra 4 shows doing nothing.
So you're paying 4 guys for a minimum of 10 shows.
And 4 of the shows, they do nothing. So right off the bat, I'm losing $10,000 a week.
Right.
Now, the hotel doesn't take care of marketing, or I think Caesars maybe matches you. So whatever you put in, say it's 6,000 or 8,000, they'll match you on that, which is that giant billboard, like you said, where I'm 30 feet in the air and, wow, that guy's a millionaire. Not. So marketing, for instance, we have to pay Vegas.com every week, which that's where people get their tickets. That's $2,500 to $4,500 a month, just that one website.
Yeah.
We have to pay. And then back in the day, used to be other websites, tickets for tonight, da-da-da-da-da. Now you're seeing all those ticket sales go down. Now I have to pay the room rental. I have to rent the room out from Harrah's.
See, and that's the craziest thing that I have heard in ever, is that
the room.
You are, as the performer,
Yeah.
with the face on the billboard that you're paying to have the face on the billboard, you are then also paying for the room.
Yeah. It's baffling. It's baffling. I'm in there bringing people into your hotel. They're watching a great show, and they're going to hang in your hotel, and yet I'm paying for the privilege to be there. So now, we haven't even talked about the band getting paid yet. You're talking about $15,000 to $17,000 a week in expenses before anybody gets paid. It's ludicrous. It's completely ludicrous. All these casinos have turned into landlords. That's really what it is. They don't care about entertainment. You come in, you bring in a show, and another giant thing about this is, we're getting into technical stuff now, but there was this giant grant called the SVOG grant, which the government gave out to every single show in town if you filled out a 50-page grant.
Right.
For instance, Chris Angel got $10 million. That's how he was able to open a Mystica, that other show that he did, that failed. Bat Out of Hell was one of those things where they got a lot of that money, and the minute January 1st hit and that money was gone, boom, that show was gone. Mm-hmm. My show is no different. My producers received, a lot of money from that grant because I think you got 40% of your 2019 gross handed to you. But you had to use that money on the show.
Sure.
So that paid for our entire year at Westgate and everything. But the minute that money ran out, it's like, okay, you're going to go back to losing money.
Yeah.
And that's why you saw like 10 shows close this year. You saw Legends close this year. You saw Bat Out of Hell. You saw a Mystica. You saw all these shows close. And you're going to see a lot more. I mean, people think you come to this town, you open a show, and you're going to make $1 million. That was true 30 years ago.
Yeah.
It's no longer the case. I tell people when they look at me and go, I really want to get a show out there. I go, well, first of all, you need $300,000 to lose, and you need to be willing to not sell one ticket for 6 months. I don't care how good you are, but because you're competing with 215 other shows a day.
Right.
So you need marketing ramming people, 8 times a day, 7 months straight, and you're going to lose money. And they look at me and go, are you kidding? I go, no. I go, I've been out here 7 years. No. That first year we were lucky because there were no headliners out here. Jersey Boys just closed. Bruno Mars wasn't here. I was in the same room as Wayne Newton. Wayne Newton was promoting my show every night in his show. I mean, we were killing it those first 2 years. And then when the town started changing, everybody's pay started going down.
Yeah.
You started to see the cost of everything going up. I mean, it's crazy. I tell people run. When they ask me to come here, I go on the road and go make money. Don't come here.
So, I mean, you're talking about people are looking at this and going, okay, yeah, you're saying you got to be able to sell these tickets and whatever. Well, how hard can that be? I mean, you get a room that's 400 people at $100 a pop. You're, into 40 grand a night. I mean, how hard can that be? But I don't think people realize you're not selling 400 tickets a night, and you're not selling them at full price because the casino, of course, is giving away comps, and you guys are doing discount tickets through Vegas.com and those places.
Ticketmaster fee, resort fee, all this stuff. So you know what? A $60 ticket turns into a $94 ticket.
Yeah.
So now you're looking at 4 people going to see a show for $90. That's $360. That's not even including the $20 drink that you have to buy.
Right.
So it turns into a $550 night for 4 people. Now, again, why is South Point killing it? No resort fees, no Ticketmaster fees. When it says Bronx Wanderers $45, guess how much my ticket is? $45. And we sold out every single night. Our opening was just February 28th to March 2nd, 3 nights a month. We sold 1,200 tickets. It's the most tickets I've sold in, I want to say, 8 months in 3 days.
Right.
Because they're not looking to rip people off. There's no resort fees. There's no entertainment fee. There's no anything. You want to see Bronx Wanderers $45? $45. And guess how much drinks are there? $8 a drink. You want a drink? Sure, it's $6. You want a $5 beer? It's $5. I'm telling you, South Point is the last hotel that is doing it right, and that is why they're packed every single night. Mm-hmm. That is why. And you know why? It's not run by a corporation. It's run by one guy. It's run by Michael Gaughan, who goes, you know what? If I lose a little bit of money over there, I'm going to make it in that department. If I lose a little bit there, I'll make it over there.
As you say, that's kind of the thing. Is the bigger hotels and the bigger resorts have got this mentality where it's every department for themselves. Yep. Where, if gaming is doing great but entertainment is sucking, oh well, we got to make some cuts in entertainment. As opposed to, as you say, with somewhere like South Point, where it's all just basically one umbrella. Yeah,
and they don't look at it like it's connected. I have no idea where this town's going to go. I mean, half of my friends were in all the lounges playing, and they went from playing 6 nights a week to now they're playing twice a month, if they're lucky. And, it's like, how do we survive? Because it's not like we were making a lot of money to begin with. You know, it's scary. Again,
I'm asking you to play fortune teller, but I mean, do you think that cycle is ever going to come back to that? I mean, people only have so much money. There's only so many of these acts that are capable of filling. I mean, how many days can Katy Perry do at Resorts World before people are like, you know what? I'm tired of Katy Perry and her giant toilet on stage. I'm done with that. Like how long before it's like, no, I would like to see quality entertainment in an intimate venue.
They're gonna keep rotating people in and out. Celine Dion was supposed to be playing at Resorts World, and she's dealing with their whole stiff back syndrome or whatever it is. But they're always gonna rotate people out, and you got to look at the demographics. If you look at all the people going to Human Nature and Righteous Brothers and Bronx Wanderers, the average age is 65 to 95. Now, you look at people coming to the Strip like we're at Luxor right now hanging out. All those people are 21 to 30 to 40. Are they going to want to go see Bronx Wanderers, Human Nature? No, they're going to want to see somebody they like, which isn't going to be a random show. It may be somebody from America's Got Talent, somebody that they do know, like maybe Jabberwockies or something. Like I don't know how they sell, but or what's that show at Strat, Illuminate, where they just dance on stage with a bunch of lights on their clothes. Yeah. Okay, that's cool for me for 10 minutes. I don't know how you do 90 minutes of that, but okay, maybe this generation's into dancing. It's all about where it's going to head with the next generation that's coming out here. All the older people that I play to have disposable income. How much money does that 23-year-old have over there to spend? They're going to go and act like a baller at Omnia and buy a Tito's bottle of vodka for $800 and think they're cool. And that's, to them, is living it up.
Yeah.
Are they going to go see Matt Franco? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's spend $280 on a guy doing card tricks. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what those people are going to want. I know that from 21 to 40, they're not going to want to be seeing Bronx Wanderers 20 years from now.
Right.
And that's why, luckily, our whole band's young. I'm going to change it up. I'll go into the 80s. I'll go into the 90s. I love doing Green Day. I just put a Green Day song into our show. I'm doing Time of Your Life with a string quartet. Because, wow, guess what? That was the last song on Seinfeld in that episode. So all the older people know it. All the younger people know it. You need to know how to hit the largest demographic you can hit.
Yeah.
You need to be able to play from people age 8 to 88. And when you look at a lot of my friends and you're playing just classic rock, that's only going to hit a certain piece of that pie. Same thing with, with all the disco shows. It's only going to hit a little sliver of the pie. When you see Bronx Wanderers, I'm playing that whole pie. Mm-hmm. I am doing at least 2 to 3 songs for every generation in that room. I'm getting the grandma, the daughter, and the grandkid all in one. Because I'm not just looking for the grandma right now who bought the tickets. I'm looking at her grandchild 20 years from now that hopefully is still going to spend money on buying a ticket to see my show.
Right.
And I hope a lot of people start picking up on what Bronx Wanderers are trying to do, because that's what you need to do in order to survive. How many Michael Jackson shows are there here?
Yeah.
MJ Live, 1. MJ Evolution's going to be opening at the Orleans soon. Friends of mine worked at Orleans. You have 5 shows all doing the same thing. You got 3 Bee Gees shows all doing the same thing. You got 7 classic rock shows all doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. You got Delilah and Mayfair all doing the same thing. You got Atomic Saloon and Opium and Absinthe all doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing the same thing. When is somebody going to fucking do something different? I am so waiting on the next artist or creative person to come out and go, dude, we just wrote Karen the musical. It's all about this fucking bitch that just I'm sorry, just curse. That just walks around and like the main song is I want to see the manager. Like, where is the hilarity new stuff?
Yeah.
Everybody's 8 Cirque shows. Everybody's doing the same thing. I'm eagerly awaiting the next round of talented young people to come out and create that next thing.
But do you
That's
think,
what I'm waiting for.
But do you think, though, let's use Karen the Musical as an example? Which,
That's my idea. And if anybody's
would,
listening to this podcast, you can take this idea, but just give me a small stipend. You can have Karen the Musical.
I would pay to see Karen the Musical.
Anybody would, because we all deal with it.
I would. But coming back then, Karen the Musical as a production is an expensive show because now you've got Karen and the Karenettes and the Karenette dancers.
It depends.
And you've got to pay the band and you've got to
I can make Karen the Musical be a one-woman show.
Yeah,
I can be the guy in the back making all the tracks and there's no band. Like, for instance, why did Bat Out of Hell need a live band that played in a closet down the block that nobody saw? Why? And I'm a musician. I love it, and I know half the musicians. I love the fact that they got paid.
Yeah.
But why are you, as a production, going to pay a band that's not even seen on stage?
Yeah.
Craziness.
Yeah.
Unless they had to use all that SVOG grant money that they needed to use up before the year's out. I don't know. I wasn't in the show. I'm speculating. But, Karen the Musical, again, you ever see the show A Bronx Tale with Chasmo and Terry, the Broadway show? It's a one-man show.
Yeah.
John Leguizamo doing his shows on Broadway. It's one-man show. Murray, my friend, I love him. 1-2-man show, him and Lefty.
Yeah.
Tate Face, one-man show with Christina, a friend of mine. When you keep overhead down, you can survive. The minute you go into 8 to 10 people a night you got to pay, you're not going to survive. You're not. I don't care how good your show is. You're not.
We saw, my wife and I saw Bat Out of Hell when we were here in December, and I'm glad we did because I
too. I saw them last week.
I'm a Meatloaf fanatic. I mean, Bat Out of Hell.
Of course you are, Jay.
Of course I am.
Totally see you singing that in the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Nobody wants to see that. As soon as my wife and I went and saw that show, and we sat in the theater, and we went, okay, this is a 1,500 seat theater, and there's 300 people in here, and I'll bet you 100 of them paid for tickets, and there's 10 people on stage, plus a band, plus
20 background dancers, plus a staff, plus a lighting crew.
Huge production, and I just thought there's no way that this is going to survive.
It had no chance,
no chance at all, which is too bad for those shows and for this city.
And a lot of those people are my friends. And, again, I tell people, this is why you need to create your own thing. You can't just keep jumping in these shows because these producers from out of town come and think you're going to open in a 1,400 seat room and sell 1,400 seats. This, and again, I've been in the same show for 19 years. I've never been in a different show because I write my own show. I produce my own show. I create my own show. I arrange my own show. I am the show, along with my dad and my band. It's our show. When you go in there and you got a bunch of people going, well, we want to do this and this and that, I, being the loudmouth mother you know that I am, I would say, guys, what the fuck are we doing paying a band to sit in a room doing nothing? If we're going to have a band, put them on stage, man. Call them the rats of the sewer. Call them whatever the hell. Involve them in the show.
Right.
Like, make it exciting. If we're going to spend that money, give me a reason why we're spending that money. But again, when you just go in there as an actor, you can't say that. Because you're auditioning, you don't know those people, you can't speak your mind. I'm sure Travis and Ann would have went to them and because they're smart. They know.
Yeah, they get it.
They get it. They know. They could have went to them and said, dudes, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
What are we doing? And again, I'm not picking on that show. I thought so many talented people in that show. But how do you take a 3-hour show and make it a 90-minute show and make it make sense? You can't.
There was a lot cut out of that show.
I didn't know it was Peter Pan until the last 15, 20 minutes of the show when he's like, oh, I didn't grow up, or she didn't grow up. I was like, oh, I had no idea. But again, all talented people, but this is the deal. All those casinos are going to take those people's money.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, Caesars made money off of having that show in that room because they made rent money. They made bar money. The hotel made money. The show made no money. But the hotel, you bet your ass, made money. And that is the evil of it. That's the nitty-gritty evil.
Let's talk about the shows moving off the Strip. As you mentioned, you guys have gone over to South Point, and there's lots of shows that are making that move. And you guys are also doing a lot of touring as well. That's a big thing for you guys.
We make 9 times the money on the road that we do here. And you play to way more people.
Yeah.
Like, I'll go on the road and I play to 2,000 people. I'm playing 1,000-seat joints, and it's selling out. And those are sold tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's okay. Yeah, no. And I mean, I assume, too, it's better for you guys health-wise, mentally, physically. I mean, I know when you and I have talked in the past before, I mean, you're like, I'm killing myself 8 nights a week for these shows, and
Why?
8 shows a week.
To play to 80 people. Why?
Yeah.
I was in a 200, what was it, Westgate? 200, I don't remember how many it was, 200? It looked full with 100. But we were playing to 60 to 90 people a night.
Yeah.
And half the night, they were house seats, which they didn't even pay to be there.
Right.
They're paying house seats. They're not paying the production.
Yeah.
We don't see any of that money.
Yeah.
So again, everybody's getting my show technically for free.
Yeah.
And I made a whole long post about this, and I got a lot of slapback from fans in town going, well, we support the show, we even though we're there, we're a seat filler. I go, yeah, you fill the seat, but you don't pay for anything.
Right.
You're not paying for my bass player, for my drummer. You're not paying for the union guy.
Yeah.
You're not paying for the marketing. You don't pay for anything. Mm-hmm. So the minute you have house seats and you suck out all that local money, and like you said, total rewards, Vegas.com, 50% off. How much money do you think these shows are actually bringing in with ticket sales? Nothing. And then you look at South Point. How much money do you make per ticket? $45 a ticket. We literally make $45 a ticket. That's why we're able to pay you 9 times your salary. Like, we're making bank at South Point because they get it. And that's what I'm hoping every person strives to go for. Again, a lot of my friends not doing shows on the Strip, where do they go? They're going to the ships. They're doing a lot of the cruise ships, and they make great money there.
Yeah.
And they're playing a stacked 2,000-seat room things. It's amazing. Amazing the talent you get when you play in front of a room of people that want to be there, that paid to be there, that appreciate being there. You know what it's like playing to 80 people that get there for free? They're the worst people to play for. The worst. They suck.
Yeah.
At the end of it, I hated playing here towards the end. I was like, God, get me on the road. Because when you're with people that actually pay to be there, they enjoy it. And I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of flat back from this interview because I'm knocking house seats. I do think that company is bullshit.
Yeah.
And I will say that. I think that company is destroying this town, and it's sucking all the local money out of every local show. And you know why? Because people like Awakenings needs house seats. People like all the 1,000-seat theaters. They need seat fillers. But you know those 200 and 300-seat rooms? We don't need seat fillers. Mm-hmm. We need people that support the show.
Yeah.
God, this is what happens when you give me martini and you ask me to do an interview. It's like I get way too freaking real, man. But it's the truth, man. Somebody should say the damn truth. You know what? The truth is like poetry. You hate poetry, but you need it. You need the truth.
Yeah.
And that's the God honest truth.
How much better, like I say, health-wise, are you now not doing 8 shows a week or 7 shows a week and absolutely killing yourself?
I'm the happiest I've ever been. I'm playing in South Point to 400 people a night in town. Again, I'm making... I don't even got to say the money, but the money's 10 times better than what it was. My sanity is back. I have a life again. I'm able to tour whenever, wherever I want. South Point was so cool about that. With Caesars, when I was there doing a residency, 28 days a month, they only let you leave 30 days a year because, we own you. South Point doesn't own me. They look at me and go, just give us 3 days a month. Don't play anywhere else in Vegas. You can play anywhere else in the world. And again, support versus not support. That's really what it is. I mean, I'm the happiest I've been. I really am. And it kills me to see my friends not the happiest that they are and the most desperate that they are. Because like you said before in the interview, all the lounges are closing. All the little shows are closing. These are all my friends. These are all people that I love and look up to. People that are 10 times better than me. That deserve 10 times the audience and stage as me. And it kills me to see where this is headed. But it's all about the dollar.
And, I mean, this is giving you a lot of time to work on your own stuff, too. I mean, you've been able to work on some music.
I'm happy about. It made me $11. I can't say I can retire on it, but I'm very happy it came out.
That was my wife streaming it 11 times.
That just came out December 22nd.
Yeah.
And you can look it up at Vincent John on anywhere. And again, though, I did a local show. I did my own show with my original music. You want to talk about a hard sell? Talk about original music. I mean, for 6 weeks I worked on my show, and by the end of it, after paying everybody and selling 110 tickets, I made $85.
Right.
Because I believe in paying my people fairly, paying them for rehearsals, all that stuff. And I did that show at Notoriety, and Ken Henderson, being the amazing man that he is, he saw how much money I made at the end of it. We were laughing together. And I didn't bring it up in a mean way. I just said, do you see how much 6 weeks of work gets me? $85. He goes, dude, I feel so bad. The amount, I did good on the bar. I'm going to pay for the sound man and the lighting guy. And he actually let me walk away with a decent, $300 to $500 paycheck, because that's just who he is. He's just a great guy. And you don't encounter a lot of great people like that in the business. You encounter a lot of people that are going to steal and take and take and take. And original music, man, that's another thing that I'm thinking, do I still do it? Do I not do it? I have the time to do it now. But again, is it worth the time to do it? I don't know. I might go work at a weed farm. I don't know. This just seems like a lot more fun to me. Maybe I can just talk to plants all day and just make people happy, getting them high. I don't know. But at the end of it, I'm at 35. I'm in my midlife crisis. Am I doing this for myself? Am I doing it to make money? I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
Because I just bought a house. It's not. I'm not 23 years old anymore. It's not about, I'm going to be a rock star someday. Ooh, can't wait. I'm lucky that I played T-Mobile Arena and got to open for Bon Jovi. That was great. Thank you, God, for teasing me like that. That it could happen.
Yeah.
But here I am at 35 going, is that ever going to happen again? I don't know. The only thing I know is this martini is damn good. That's all I know.
And Bronx Wanderers, I mean, you guys are doing so well. You've made some changes to the show.
Yeah.
You're evolving the show. You're bringing in some new stuff. Your dad is still kicking ass. I love your dad. Your dad kills me. I mean, the last time...
He kills me too, literally.
The last time we saw each other last December, a year ago December, Kim and I came to the show. And after the show, I mean, that cracked me up. We started talking to your dad, and he's going off about the family and stuff going on with your brother. And Kim and I are like,
it's real. We live our show.
We feel like we're part of the family now. We've been brought in.
And that's our thing. You leave feeling like you're a part of the family, which is why we're sponsored by Prozac and Jack Daniels. That's why we like to tell people that. But, I mean, so the good thing with South Point is because we only do it 3 days a month, I now have time to create. We're like, this past month, we had a string quartet from the Las Vegas Youth Artist Orchestra come out and play with me.
Very cool.
And next month, I want to do something different every month. So next month, I'm going to have a horn section come out and do a really cool song with my dad.
Awesome.
And then the month after that, I'm thinking about having the UNLV marching band come out and do a song. I want to change it every month. I want to take the word residency and spin it on its head, because I feel like everybody does the same show every time. And me being the little creative snob that I am, I want to reinvent the game, and I want to change it every damn month. Mm-hmm. I want to push ourselves to the brink. I want to keep bringing the same people back that have seen my show and get new people in to see my show. Mm-hmm. I'm going to continue to grow this space, and you're going to see 2 years from now, everybody's going to start copying me and doing what I'm doing, so that's always what happens. But that's what we're going to do, and I can't just sit back and go, the show's done. Mm-hmm. Because once you do that, you're dead. It's over. And unfortunately, when we had residencies at Westgate and the Link, you're strapped to those 400 lights hitting you are hitting that same song every night. You can't change the show because you got to pay a union to re-rehearse. You got to pay all these people to come in and do this. Guess what? Now at South Point, I can do whatever the fuck I want. And I finally have the creative freedom to grow the show. And that, to me, is the most exciting part of the year coming up for me.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
And I can't wait to have you come out
when
we're here. I'm sorry that we're not playing when you're here, but, I'm enjoying my days off. Sorry, Jeff. Deal with it.
You know what? Everyone's entitled to a day off every once in a while.
I didn't have one for a good year. For a good year.
I wish you all the best, sir.
I appreciate it, man.
It's good to see you happy. It's good to see you guys healthy. It's good to see you guys evolving and growing and being successful, and it makes me really happy.
I'm honored, man. I'm just honored to thank you for giving people like us a voice and to shine light on things that people don't necessarily know about, the evil of the music business. And it is evil, but again, it's all for fun. We just want to make people happy. At the end of the day, you want to make people happy and have a lifestyle. Just like you with your podcast. I mean, you're making people happy, entertaining people, and you want to make a living. That's all we in entertainment want to do. And until these corporate people understand that, hopefully something will change a year, 2 years from now. I doubt it, because I bet a year from now we're going to have a baseball team out here. We're going to have the Oakland A's out here, and that's going to suck 40,000 people out of the ticket sales. So, let's all see where it goes.
A year from now, you and I will sit down and have this same conversation again.
I won't be in AA. I'll still have this same martini, so don't you worry. Don't you worry. I'm not a quitter.
Vincent, love you, brother.
I love you too, Jeff. Thanks for having me, pal.
And that wraps up another episode of Jeff Does Vegas. If you've got feedback on this episode of the show, or any other episode for that matter, or you've got suggestions and ideas for topics you'd like me to cover on the podcast, please feel free to reach out to me via Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram at Jeff Does Vegas. Or drop me an email directly at jeff@jeffdoesvegas.com. In the meantime, thank you so much for checking out the show. Be sure to follow us wherever you get your podcasts so you'll know the moment new episodes are available. And don't forget to visit jeffdoesvegas.com for past episodes and show notes. My name is Jeff, and this has been Jeff Does Vegas, a Walker New Media production.